And we've been speaking about this all morning because who wouldn't want to explore mental mastery, the ability to better understand, direct, and unlock the potential of the human mind? And there is a KZN launch of the Mind Matters Summit 2026 with Momentum Multiply. And we've got with us in studio right now, Kanchana. Good morning.
Good morning.
When I saw you this morning, I was like, I know you. We go to the same yoga studio.
Yoga is life.
Yoga is life, They said that you can never teach yoga. Yoga only teaches you. And I love that for us.
I know.
So Kanchana, tell us about this, because mind matters. Firstly, what it's like the perfect time for us to be looking at this, because I think we're so focused on our bodies and we can do all the things, but really when it comes down to the mind, who's teaching us how to use the mind correctly,
Well, I think the mind has not been understood until now. That's why we're seeing so much of popularity in the media for it, because suddenly people are going, oh wow, I have a mind, I have a body, I should be able to learn how both these things actually work together. But actually your mind is your body and your body is your mind, and I think yoga teaches you that. But fundamentally, when you get into understanding the mind and body connection, you get to a very deep place of understanding why you actually make the decisions that you do in life. And young people today are suffering that, right?
Yeah.
We know that decision making actually is very, very difficult, especially when you have more than 7 decisions to make in your life. It actually causes pain in the brain.
Oh.
Yes. So with all the proliferation of choice that you have today, and nobody being a guardrail in your life, you basically have this pain in your brain, and suddenly you don't understand what choice should be made. I think you'd remember, Keri, when we were younger, you had, I'd be a doctor, a lawyer, a
nurse teacher. The end.
The end. Now you can be a YouTuber, you can own a digital radio station, you can be a founder of Mind Matters, you can be an event planner, you can do anything that you want. And then you go to Instagram and you see what people are doing on there and the new career choices. And then you go, what do I do?
Yeah,
then
so many options.
What do I wear? And this is actually fundamentally where we are bombarded with so much of outside information and stimuli that we don't understand how the mind should be making decisions. So Mind Matters helps you understand your mind, the patterns that you have created in your mind over the last however many years, because when you're 35, you just stop actually creating anything because everything's hardwired in your brain.
Really?
So you've got to shake that brain so that you can rewire it, you can unpattern it, and you can start creating a new life. Because when you're 35, all your thoughts are about the past. So 60 to 70,000 thoughts that are going through your head every single day are all about yesterday or the day before, or what did I do, or where did I come. So the only way to create a future is to become someone else. And when you are 35, it's very, very difficult to become that new person. When it's hardwired into your brain, you've got your identity of your family and your friends. And this is
what
where
cultures put on you.
And that's where you see a lot of midlife crises coming in, right? Where people are going, is this it?
And also interesting that 35 is a derivative of 7.
Yes.
And we all know the 7-year cycle.
Yes.
And we also know that we've all just had our Saturn return around 30, where everything starts to shift.
Yeah.
You said something just now, the words you used were proliferation of choice. I was at a museum once in Germany, where in this cage box, they had one plate with 2 chocolates.
Yeah.
And the chocolate was dark or milk.
Yeah.
And you either love milk or you don't.
Exactly.
Or you love dark, or you don't.
Yeah.
And it was very easy. And the whole thing was people were able to go and say left or right, the end.
Yes.
On the platter next to it was a choice of maybe 16 to 20 chocolates. Dark, light, white, mixed, this with something, mint. And people would stand forever before they were able to decide, and most didn't.
Yeah.
And that's what they were talking about with this proliferation of choice, that analysis paralysis, where so many options that you actually can't choose, where you feel like if you have many, many, many options that it's going to be a good thing, but actually it's not a good thing at all. And they start talking about the paradox of choice, where more options lead to more stress and decision fatigue. And that's what you were just saying now. Like, if no one's even helping you to understand how you are making your choices in a world where you have got the choice of everything at your fingertips.
Yeah.
It's
and the problem is too much abundance, right? So we live in a world that's too abundant at the moment compared to what our brains are used to. So the brain is trying to catch up with what's happening in the world, and it's not functioning properly. And this is causing overwhelm. And the problem is that people aren't broken. They don't need to be fixed.
No.
They just need skills to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
If you had the same choices and you had 16 to 20 things in front of you, but you knew yourself, and that's what they say, know thyself, right? If you knew yourself fundamentally, and you knew how you think, you knew what you wanted, you knew the direction of your life, you knew the coherence of your mind, and your life was aligned with your heart and your soul, you would know exactly what choice to make with the chocolate.
Exactly.
But if you don't have that, and that skill and that knowledge of yourself, self-awareness is the greatest technology that we have. But people don't spend time with themselves. They spend time outside themselves every single day. And Mind Matters is all about returning you to yourself. That's actually what our payoff line is, to unslave your mind and return you to yourself.
I've got such shivers. And this is really the perfect time, because in a time, especially, I think, I also bring up COVID, I think, because COVID it reminded everyone, and we can be grateful for it. It reminded everyone, okay, cool. When you're in a state of fear, when you don't feel health, what is your wealth really? And then this now moved to being okay with speaking about mental wellness and or mental illness, and the move to understanding that it's not about running to take a medication. It's about finding movement, finding alone time, quiet time. And that is the hardest thing for people. I mean, we were speaking about yoga earlier, that power yoga, hot, quick move. That's the easiest. Yes. It's the yin. It's the lie in silence for 2 minutes, 3, 5 minutes. Well, that's the hard part.
All yoga is done for you to get into meditation, right?
Yes.
You've got to tire the body to get into the mind. Because the body will want to move all the time. It wants you to be doing something. It wants to distract you. And when your body and mind are yoked, that's fundamentally when you become still. And stillness is the greatest freedom you can have in life. There's these experiments done where they ask people, would you rather take an electric shock or sit for 10 minutes by yourself? And people would say, 40% of people said they'll sit still, and the rest of them, 5% of people said they sit still, and the rest of them said,
what?
I will take an electric shock.
5%?
5%. And men probably even less.
Then 5.
So the woman would say, okay, but everyone would rather take an electric shock. And it's quite interesting, because sitting still is about learning about yourself. So what are you so scared about?
I know. And isn't it wild as we come into this world alone and whole and fulfilled and joy-filled and in our bliss, and we slowly chip away and or cover up parts of ourselves, and we forget that light shines in us. And only as we get close, if we're lucky enough to not be taken from earth before we get to the time where we start to think, okay, this is my time. And so only from 70, so people then start to remember themselves again. And then you're like, now you're in a body that's not working for you. And it's just so sad. I'm looking here that Mind Matters is going to be at the Hilton Arts Festival. It says there's going to be a bold exploration of mental mastery. I mean, this is just amazing. At a time of rapid change and constant noise, the arts remain one of our most powerful tools for making sense of the world. Can you tell us about what's going to be happening at Mind Matters, the Hilton Arts Festival? And then I know there's something happening in Cape Town as well.
Yes, yeah. So we've been doing a road show. We've done Joburg and Cape Town. And it's been very interesting, because different things at different places, so in Cape Town, we did an experience called the Masogi. And the Masogi is to do something very hard in your life that actually alchemizes you into becoming someone else.
An example of a Masogi?
Like you do a 21-kilometer challenge if you've never run before, or you do a mountain, or you become a yoga teacher, or something that was like deep inside you that you commit to do in the year. And what the belief is that this Masogi came from a Japanese samurai tradition, where people used to go and sit under these waterfalls that used to just hit them really hard, and they used to get super cold and chilled, but it used to alchemize who they were. It used to help them to be able to get rid of all.
We do hard things so we can have an easy life.
Exactly. So you choose your hard. So Masogi is about helping them choose their hard, but it's always something that's inside. Keri's showing me a tattoo says choose your hard.
I've got it on my fridge hand. So when I reach in, I'm like, what are we reaching for? No, for real. Choose your heart. It's a goodie. Yeah.
And basically, we took people through a breathwork and visualization technique, which is proprietary to one of the speakers that we're bringing in to Mind Matters in Cape Town. And they help you to solidify it through the rewiring of your neurons in your brain through storytelling and visualization and breathwork. And so people start crying, they start laughing, they start doing all sorts in the moment. And I did it for a leadership team and a couple of weeks ago in Cape Town. And people literally went, oh my gosh, my life just changed in a minute.
And isn't isn't it wild how someone told us once when we were children that change doesn't happen overnight?
No, it can happen in a second.
And you need, but this is exactly
Decision.
it. And I'll say to someone, when you're looking at positive, you always think change doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
But when you, and please God, I hope you haven't, got a phone call that tells you news you don't want to hear, does your life not change in an instant?
In an instant.
Your life can change in an instant.
Oh, yeah, completely. And I think people don't realize that they are in control of changing that in an instant. So as you said, a phone call can from outside, once again, will come in and it will change you. But you somehow decided that you can't be the phone call. That changes you.
You need to be your own phone call.
Yes. You need to be your own phone call. That changes your life. And literally, it will change. I mean, I've been around so many people recently. I can't even tell you. Doing these masogis, doing Mind Matters, teaching people how to get beyond themselves, because fundamentally it's all in your mind. That's the whole thing about Mind Matters, is when you get beyond yourself, something else happens. And what these practices teach you, meditation or breath work or the ice plunge or all of that, is to just get you into a mode of stillness so that for a minute you can feel what clarity feels like. Because a lot of people have never, ever had clarity. They haven't had 5 seconds of clarity. The hardest place to be is now, here, looking in your eyes, talking to you, being right here in Play ZN, having a beautiful experience in a conversation. How many times are you in the conversation, but you're actually thinking about what you're doing next?
Yeah.
What happened before this? And that's not presence. Presence is where the gift is. It's the now. And this year at Mind Matters in Cape Town, everything is about giving you the practice to return to the now, so that you can make decisions with clarity and freedom and remove all that anxiety and overwhelm and, the depression. All depression comes from regret, from living in the past. All anxiety comes from living in the future. So where do you want to be? You want to be in the joyful moment of the present. And
literally be in joy.
Be in joy, And the thing is, we all sugar addicts, right? We all want the candy floss. We only want the good times. But actually, life is made of 80% bad times.
Yeah.
There's boring every day. There's consistency that you got to do every day. You got to wake up and go to work every day.
Yeah.
That's not great. People don't. But if you learn to love all of it, the suffering, the joy, the happiness, the peace, you start living a life that is beautifully, almost like ordained for you.
Ordained for someone, and I don't remember who the teacher was, but one of the yogis said about washing dishes.
Oh yeah.
And that moment of like, I'm gonna wash dishes. And saying, imagine if as you stand there, you notice how lucky you are that you've got a leg to stand on.
Correct.
Literally, you can stand. That the water is running out of a tap, which means that you've got running water, and you're washing dishes because you had food, and you have more than one dish because you had company to share that food with.
Yes.
How amazing
is washing dishes.
Washing dishes.
Yeah. Everything is a reframe. Everything is about giving yourself a reframe. And I think when we get into the state of mental well-being right now, it's quite interesting. At the beginning of the year, Ipsos did a study, and for the first time, mental well-being has far exceeded cancer as the number one concern for people in health.
Wow.
So it is the number one priority.
Well, actually, as you say that, it makes sense, because if you do believe that the negative space of our thoughts can cause dis-ease,
that's exactly what it
which
causes.
then would spark your cancer.
Yeah, of course.
Then what you're looking at is the cause of many.
Correct.
And I don't mean to be disrespectful here, because obviously cancer is very real, and a lot of people are dealing with it. So I don't mean to be like, you thought about it and you create. I'm not saying that.
Yes.
But if we are looking at what could be a spark of dis-ease in your body, thoughts, mind, thoughts,
trauma,
those beliefs,
stress.
When they say like beliefs are just practiced thoughts. Your belief about yourself is because you've practiced a thought about yourself, your life, so much that now you believe it.
Yeah, it's, and then you get to 35, that's what I'm saying, and you feel like you can't unwire, rewire, unlearn, and these are the techniques that, these practices that you do, it shakes you a little bit to go, oh, wow, I never felt that before. Where did that come from? And that clarity helps you to have some freedom for space, for pause, for thought, to go, what could my life be like if I wasn't on this treadmill?
I find a lot of people, when we have these conversations, feel like it's a more female space. Do you find that with Mind Matters?
No.
The men are a little bit more resistant?
I find because we take a Silicon Valley type of approach, and it's all about mental fitness. We don't bring only meditation or only what people think is soft.
Yeah.
We don't bring yoga into the teaching of it. We teach you about the future. We teach you about AI. We teach you about the future that's coming. How are you going to deal with it? the type of speakers that we bring in are world-renowned in the industry, like Dr. Tara Swart is a neuroscientist. She's talking about...
Is Dr. Tara Swart going to be speaking?
Yeah, so she's one of our guests, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so last year we had Mo Goddard, who's like the father of AI from Google, and that was our original year. We had Tatiana Smith, we had Lyra, but fundamentally the story was that everybody is dealing with something.
Yeah.
Every single person, whether you're at the top of your game and you're Elon Musk, or you are the president of any country, you might see that as great. But actually, would you be able to deal with it? And we're very opinionated about how they should run it or whatever. But if you were in the same situation, would you be able to handle the pressure? Would you be able to, do the things that these people do? But the reason why they do it is because they are in control of their minds. And the mind takes you anywhere. So, we've already proven all of this. Neuroscience proves it. We've got tons of study from science, data, research that shows how powerful your mind is when you put it to work and you give it the right fodder to be able to fuel it, right? So, if you cut out social media for a week, your brain changes.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's external.
So
that's external feeding of your system. And suddenly you cut out all of that and something happens and you go, wow. I don't know if you know, but like all over the world, there's this whole thing about phone-free clubs and and, basically sitting on rooftops and reading for young people, especially because they feel so overwhelmed by, what they are receiving. And this year, that's all that we're going to be talking about, literally returning to yourself.
I just wanted to jump in there. Sorry to interrupt you like that. But in Cape Town, when our team was there for not so long ago, we went to a restaurant where when you order a specific bottle of wine, the bottle of wine gets reduced. It was a really beautiful bottle of wine, gets reduced to like $100 or 90 Rand if you all put your phones in the box.
Oh, that's a fantastic way to get people to...
And then they tape the box.
Oh, wow.
And if the box is still taped at the end of your meal, the wine is, it was like nothing,
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like, that's all we had to do. We're like, guys, you can have wine if you don't got your phone. And it was such a lovely idea. We sat, we spoke. Hey, Devik, you were there.
And you get to know each other better.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing they talk about, having your phone out is doesn't show respect to the person next to you because you constantly, looking at your phone, who's coming in or whatever. And why do that when you're here in this call? When we were young, there were no phones. You sat and you spoke to people. You talked to them. You got to know them. You looked in their eyes. You connected. And the loneliness pandemic is as a result of the fact that young people don't know how to connect.
Do you think there's an opportunity in a world that's so moving digitally I really think that AI can be an incredibly useful tool if you know how to, use it correctly. In fact, it can be a time saver. If you've got an AI agent working on the background, going through your emails, going through your calendars, etc. Would you teach ways that we can be present in the world as it is right now, which means we have to be online and also be present in ourselves?
Yes, totally. That's what we're actually doing this year. If you go to the Mind Matters website, you'll actually see that all the courses coming on, the AI being built on there, is about coaching you to do those things. Yeah, so that's what we are trying to do in the world. So we're building a platform called, it's Mind Matters, and the AI will be called Mind Matters AI. And the idea is that you will have this, guru almost in your pocket to help you to be able to navigate life differently. And
when will that app be out?
We're launching it at Mind Matters, in October.
Hey,
okay. So we're having Mental Mastery Week in Cape Town starting on the 16th of October, all the way leading up to Mind Matters, which is going to be at the CTICC on the 29th of October. So that's Mental Wellbeing Month.
Oh, wow.
And there'll be different activities all through the city. You'll be able to go to yoga on Table Mountain. You'll be able to do ice plunges, all sorts of things leading up. Next day is an immersive experience. And then we end with something really beautiful. We've managed to secure Robben Island. And we're going to be doing a free broadcast for 2.5 hours. And it's going to be basically everything that you learned the day before. Those same teachers have given up their time free for the world to tune in and stream and get 2.5 hours of practice.
From Robben Island?
From Robben Island. So it's called Unslave Your Mind. So from a place that basically was physically enslaving to many people. And now the slave is actually your mind. So
I have got such chills, my gosh.
How do you unslave your mind? And giving people that practice for the 2.5 hours that they can play over and over and over and get the reframe that they need without going through all the stuff that I've been through to learn about all of this, or everybody's been through to learn about this, but curated for 2.5 hours for you to get that mental shift.
Okay, Kanchana, you need to tell us, how do we get involved? Because are there still tickets available for Cape Town?
It's actually just gone.
How do we get there?
So Hilton Arts Festival, you come free. You enjoy a bit of meditation. You enjoy the ice plunges. Multiply is providing these amazing ice plunges.
This is all happening for free this weekend?
This weekend it's for free, yeah.
On Saturday's morning,
Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, yeah. So I'll give a little talk. Then we have the head of Multiply doing something brilliant. They're launching a new campaign, which is really beautiful. And then we go into these ice plunges, which you'll be coached to actually do. So what I've noticed
in Hilton at this time of the year,
in the cold,
get into the ice.
You want to do hot stuff? You want to beat your mind? Do you remember Wim Hof?
Of course I remember Wim Hof, of course.
Wim Hof teaches ice, and he's in the teaches you the breathing, and that's what you're going to learn. And it's just fun, right? So bring your costume, bring a towel, just come experience something. But obviously we'll do the meditation.
Bring fire logs. Yeah.
And then you get to Cape Town 29th of October, Mental Wellbeing Month. You can get tickets online, mindmatters.com. mindmattersummit.com.
mindmattersummit.com.
Yeah, right. And then you can also just play around there at Mind Matters Company. You can see all the different courses that are coming. You're going to get the coaching directly from Silicon Valley, the guys who coach startups in Silicon Valley, AI startups. They're coming out. They're going to teach you the practices of these startup founders. We've got David Hans Barker. He's actually somebody who's trying to democratize meditation. And he's got a program called 1 Million Meditators. And they have already got to about in the last couple of years, like 500,000, 600,000. So they're almost like there. And every week, people join them online. So they are young people.
I just keep getting shivers, man.
Driving the meditation movement of Vipassana. So the original meditation of the Buddha, we're bringing him, Dr. Tara Swart, we're bringing Alice Law, who's the co-author of Unstressable, and lots more, And then the next day is obviously Robin Island. So it's an amazing space for us to basically make people aware that this is what's going on. And you are not broken.
Yeah, not. And in fact, it is these moments where you feel broken that are the catalysts for the thing. I mean, and what was the word that you used about to do the hard thing? What was initially like a G something? You mentioned a word. No. Where you said people must do this hard thing, like something you want to do in the year, like do it.
Masogi.
Masogi. Okay.
Yes.
Some of us, so if you go and do Mind Matters, you get to choose a masogi. Some of us have been forced into your masogi.
Correct.
It might be a death or a divorce, or you lose a job.
So that's it.
But then you find your thing, man.
So the idea is that they say a masogi chooses you or you choose it. So if you are choosing it and you're becoming ready before it hits you, you'll be able to go through it like a master.
Oh.
But if you don't have the tools, and something happens, you will not be able to go through. And that's when we get into depression. That's when we spiral out. That's when we go into...
Because we're also resisting what's happened.
Correct.
How did he leave me? Why did she die?
You don't embrace it. You don't go, oh, that's happened? How do I react? How do I respond rather than react? Because I think we don't have the mechanisms and we don't have the understanding. Think about it. When you're in school and you didn't know how to write, your teacher held your hand and showed you how to write. And writing class when we were very young. I don't know if they even do that now, but when I was young.
Now they learn to use their thumbs on a keypad.
And you learned how to do cursive writing, and
the kids are like, you use the other fingers as well.
and things like that. And that's why Hilton Arts Festival is so important, because it's about creativity. It's about this whole other thing that you have within you. And creativity, awe, joy, gratitude, longevity, resilience, mastery, edge, autonomy. This all lives within you. And you haven't touched any of it as yet. Gratitude. How do you get to these states? Because the fundamentals of what happens to people that are living in low energy frequency is living in low energy emotion.
Yeah.
So if you're living in anger, hatred, fear,
despair,
you're constantly in that negative space, you're never going to reach those high emotions to feel that joy, the elation, the light, the love, that people talk about.
And the hardest thing to hear right now, and I know we've really gone over the time, but the hardest thing to hear right now is that your yuck emotion is your choice. And that's a really ugly thing to hear. And I think most of us don't want to hear that. If you look at me and you say, Keri, I know you're feeling, but you know this, you're like, how can you say that?
You don't know what I've been through. Yeah. And this is the thing. This is what we call enslaving the mind. When you enslave the mind, you actually understand it's you. No one's coming to save you. not the government, not definitely not the government, not
Surprise, surprise.
not even your mom or dad is coming to save you. And I think for young people, for a lot of their lives, mom and dad have saved.
Yeah.
And now suddenly you go into the real world. You're in university. You have to go out to work, and then suddenly your boss tells you something, and you're like, well, let me go home and have a cry about that. But it's just not realistic to think that the world doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
And how do you react in the world every single day? That's fundamental, and it's not hard. I'm going to say it's not hard once you do all the practices.
You have to practice every day.
You have to practice every day.
But the thing is, when you get ill and your doctor says to you, you're going to take this pill 3 times a day, once on your left leg, once on your right leg, you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if we say to you, can you sit for literally, set your alarm for 4 minutes? Can you sit for 4 minutes?
With yourself.
But so many excuses.
Yeah, but we can watch Netflix and binge it for about 5 hours. You can do all of that stuff. But the thing is, it's self-worth, right? At the end of the day,
self-worth, self-love, exactly.
When you get to feel worthy, you actually take the time for yourself. And what are you doing here otherwise? You're here to have an experience, but what are you doing here? Fundamentally, what are you doing here? Have you asked yourself that question?
I want to look at you and say right now, Kanchana, I love you. But you know what else you've made me want to say is, I love me.
Yes, exactly.
I love me.
Exactly. And every single day, if you go for a walk, if you go to gym, if you work on your muscles, if you don't work your muscles, you'll have atrophy, right?
Yes.
It's the same with your brain.
Yes.
It's the same with your mind. If you're climbing Mount Everest and you don't have the tools and the gear and the Sherpas to help you and whatever, how do you get up Mount Everest?
You don't.
And life is like Mount Everest right now.
And just a reminder again on this beautiful Puza Thursday that we remind you every Thursday to drink so much good quality water.
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
It also matters for your mind. So that's another one. Kanchana, thank you so much. Please go right now to mindmatterssummit.com if you are able to get to Hilton Arts Festival this weekend. Saturday morning from 8 a.m. Look for Mind Matters. Going to be set up with some ice plunges, all thanks to Multiply.
Yes.
It's going to be so much fun.
Behind the bell tower.
Behind the bell tower. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. And then if you are able to get to Cape Town in October, do yourself a favor. Tickets on sale now.
Yes, ticket on sale now. They're online, and then you can get an add-on for the immersive experiences on the second day. Robben Island tickets will go on sale mid-August.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. I know we're late for news, but we have to. Sorry. Just plays it in.
Thank you.